Hi everybody, Adrian Plus here,
Yes, and Bridget, hello.
and this is number 298, is it? In Sounding the Shadows.
If you say so, Adrian, then probably it is.
Well, I've got it wrong so
No,
many
no, no, no,
times.
no, probably is.
Yes. Right, so what sort of a day have you had?
You know, the thing is, you knew that I had to be efficient today. And you know all about being efficient, don't you?
Not by being it, I don't know. No, I've spent my whole life, I kid you not, until now, telling people that I'm spontaneous. It kind of works, and there are obviously occasions when being spontaneous is useful or interesting, hopefully. But no, I'm not. I'm really not by nature efficient. In fact, I'm cataclysmically tidy, which is fatal for keeping things
It
normally
means you
tidy.
lose things all the time.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
no. Well, or it means that I spend an intense half hour changing everything, but don't do the little things that keep it normal.
Or you have drawers. You say, I'm going to put this in a drawer. And then you fill up that drawer. So you think, I need another one because I want to be efficient. So I want to put my things away. And then you have to work through.
Yes, but
anyway, that's.
you then. Oh, never mind. No, okay.
Well, the only
Anyway.
reason I say it is because yesterday, it's our cafe, our church cafe, and it's in a separate building from our church, and it has the food bank. And on Thursdays, that's when I work there. But we were going to be short-staffed, so I thought, no, I'm going to be really efficient. I'm going to go to bed in plenty of time. I'm going to have a really good night's sleep. I'm going to get up, and I'm going to
Gonna
really
get up?
tackle this day.
That's a good
Well,
start.
you and I, we didn't go to bed and go to sleep, did we? We both had a ridiculous night. I think we were talking to each other at 2:00 and then at 3:00. Is that
Something
right?
happens at 3:47 every morning. I kid you not, it is extraordinary. Anyway,
Anyway,
wasn't
still
easy.
I was focused and sure that I would be able to manage. Unfortunately, I went into a very deep sleep at that point and didn't wake up very early at all. And as you know, one of the problems is if we don't get up in time, our little dog Gracie sleeps in a cage, which is her bedroom, and she goes trotting off there in the evening, and I often have to hoik her
Very
out of
happily,
there.
by the way.
Oh yeah, but I often have to hoik her out to go and
Yeah.
have a wee.
Yeah.
And last night I thought I had done that, but unfortunately I was late getting to her this morning. So my first shock was that this poor little dog had badly wet herself. So that was
So her
shock
bed was
one.
wet, yeah.
Really wet. That was shock one. Shock two, I went into the kitchen and there was this unbelievable noise.
Yes, I know what that noise is.
It was the freezer.
Yeah.
The freezer had not been shut properly by either me or you, and we'll never know who. But what it did mean is that half the contents of this tall freezer were no longer frozen. And the worst thing was that I'd had a big bag of frozen fruit, you know, those sort of berries, and it was all red fruits. And as I pulled out this unfrozen bag, it dripped all over the front of the freezer and onto the floor. And now the floor looked as though it had got spots of blood all over it. So that was my next job.
Nice.
I know. And by the time I went, I was exhausted and
Yeah.
cross and not at all organised or efficient. But the dog was fine.
And then,
Yeah.
then,
What?
well, if there were only two people there to
Oh,
do.
well, we were very
work.
short-staffed, so it was a really, really long, busy day, and I didn't have time to be efficient.
But you
or not
actually
efficient
probably
or-
got very efficient in that situation.
It can
yeah.
happen, though, can't it? I was thinking of that time so long ago when I was off to do a talk, which was something to do with being serene and whatever, and you
Yeah.
had a job as well.
Yeah.
And things went
Oh, yes.
slightly wrong.
Yeah.
I think you wrote about it. Are you going to find it?
Well, I don't want to. I'll tell you, I'll read something different.
Oh, all right. Okay.
No, I do remember that, and I do remember that after you'd done your talk on serenity.
Well, it wasn't exactly on Serenity, but it was ish sort of thing, as
yeah.
near as I could get to anything serene.
No, I was thinking of the time when I thought I'd sorted everything out to do some work,
Yes.
And it's recorded in a book called Still Crazy. I won't read it all because it's quite long, but it's a bit similar. So one morning, Bridget and I agreed I would settle down to write a letter for my website, which I used to do at one time. It was a good day to choose because she was due, this is some time ago, to begin a new voluntary role at our church cafe in the morning.
Oh, that was when it was.
That's when it was.
Right.
And I had none of those niggling loose ends to deal with at home. So at 10 o'clock, I sit down at the table in my sitting room. I lift the lid of my laptop. I open a new file. I enjoy all these things. And I take a sip of my very, very nice coffee. There is no clear reason that I can see why my work would be postponed or interrupted.
Because you had a completely clear day. I wasn't going to be
Everything was
around.
fine.
Yeah, right.
Now, I just want to say that, just breaking out of this a bit from it, I'm sure God would say, if he was here sitting with us, he'd say, I do allow you quite a lot of slack. But I just want to say that I do the same for him. I really do. I am prepared, if not exactly happy, to temporarily shelve things like predestination and free will and all the human suffering that's allowed by an omniscient and all-loving creator. And as the writer of 1 John said, as we seem to see playing out on the world stage now, the devil being allowed to rule the world. Anyway, you would think, would you not, that the Almighty might have rewarded my patient forbearance over these issues by sending an experienced angel to ensure I could get some work done.
So let's just set the scene. So there you are. You've got this laptop in front of you. You know exactly what you're going to do. You have no interruptions in the day, and I am not there. So
That's right.
That is the nice situation.
You're not there to help me, which is very helpful.
I'm not there at all.
So
no.
so all I can say is that God must have put a work experience angel on that day, because I had only typed 2 words when disaster happened. Now, you wouldn't think, would you, there was much could have gone wrong. On the other side of the table, and I can see it now as I sit here, with sort of very tall fluted glass container filled with fresh flowers. It looked beautiful, and it added to my piece, really. A moment earlier there'd been a lot of water in it. Suddenly, there was none. Maybe I think I might have just nudged the table leg with my knee. But,
Well, I think you might have done something,
but
Adrian.
whatever it was, the vase suddenly slipped from the china coaster it was standing on. Oh, this is awful. And fell heavily across the table in my direction. So the glass didn't actually break, but the water flowed out and across the wooden surface like a freak wave. Objects lying around on the table became little islands in a sea of stale, flower-fragmented, stained water. And I panicked, which is what I do. I rescued my laptop immediately, rushed to the kitchen, fast as I could, collected what was left of our last giant kitchen roll, and I frantically mopped my mobile phone before anything else.
Mobile
followed
phone,
by
of course.
printed sheets of paper, a pink plastic box of computer sticks on my new black spectacle case, and the water remained. There was a lot of it. No exaggeration. There was a lot. So, a few minutes later, after feverish activity, the kitchen roll was exhausted, and the results formed a strange, misshapen mass in a big china bowl. See, white kitchen roll, all wet.
I
and
know.
stuff.
At least
So,
it wasn't a load of dark red fruit
no, it wasn't.
all over
But
it.
the table was still awash.
Oh no.
So there was only one thing left to do. Not for the first time, I cursed the fact that at that time we had no downstairs toilet.
Ah, yes.
So I got a mile of toilet paper, which eventually did the trick. Half a roll or more needed before that polished wood was totally dry again. And sitting beside the bowl, now piled, ridiculously high, with a mountain of soaked, dripping tissue, I breathed a sigh of relief, and it was back to square one. And at that precise moment, the phone rang. And I won't go on with that, but you know how it is with the sort of Basil Fawlty moments.
I think we'd all like to
When-
know what happened when
Well, the person on the phone gets all the frustration and anger that you're feeling. And I suppose you have to say things like that are trivial. You know, I mean, it's annoying, but there are times when it does almost seem as though something that is well worth doing, and that you would think would be helped by a helpful God, just don't go right. And I'd like to
I
know
don't think
why.
it's got anything to do with God at all. I think
No.
it's got to do with the fact that you had a vase of flowers and water on your desk with your laptop and the sticks and everything else.
Yeah.
And I think with me, I didn't get up in time to get Gracie out in time, and that has made me feel really bad actually, because poor little girl, she, you know, she's very good actually, but a bladder is a bladder, and she needed to have a wee. So that was one thing, and either you or I had not shut the fridge properly. So, I mean, I think it's
Whoever it was, you or
a
I,
freezer rather, yeah.
had not shut the freezer actually.
Yeah.
I know that. No, never mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, go
But
on.
I suppose what I mean is, it's confusing. I mean, you talked about this, not very good angel, but I'm not sure. I think it's awfully easy to blame God for things that really are nothing whatsoever to do with him, and maybe not challenge him over things that maybe we have the right to challenge. I know you've spent a lot of time thinking about maybe what you would do if you were God. You know, why doesn't God do a little more in the area of
Whatever.
whatever? And maybe we should be challenging God over some of these things, and really not giving up on hoping and expecting, but not when it comes to things that affected me today and you all that time ago.
Well, it isn't even as simple as that, is it? Because we are further thwarted by the fact that, as you know, and people listening to us will know, there have been times when the thing we thought we were doing turns out to be something else. And when you look at the life of Jesus, you see precisely that happening, and you see the people who were close to him wondering why on earth he doesn't get his act together. Because
I don't remember any stories about him not doing the thing.
Jairus' daughter, I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So off they go to heal Jairus' daughter.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're interrupted by a lady who's ill and needs help. And then the Jairus people come back and say, well, now she's dead.
Yeah.
And they all say, oh, it's not worth going. Jesus says she's not dead. But in the plan, and I'm beginning to not only see this, but really enjoy it, in the plan that there is, you often simply cannot tell what is the most important thing that is going to happen. I mean, obviously for the little girl in that story was that she, in the end, was alive. But it must have happened again and again with him, with the disciples, that they thought, I thought we were going to do this. And I thought when that happened that we did that. And I'm beginning to find it quite refreshing to let go of that assumption that I can know that in advance, really. What about you?
I'm desperately trying to connect that with my fiasco this morning. But having said that, I do think there are many times when you're jerked out of, I don't mean you, I mean one is jerked out of any sort of complacency that we are in control of the world that we live in, and millions of reasons why that happens, not just our own stupidity, but all sorts of things. And that you just have to redirect in a way and get on with it. And I suppose that's what the disciples had to learn with Jesus, that they just had to redirect. They had to think, okay, so that's not what we thought was going to happen. Let's find out what is. I don't know. I can't quite equate these things, Adrian, but that's because I've still got the freezer making a dreadful noise and half the contents of it needing to be thrown away. So I'm not quite there in my thinking.
No, I'm not seriously asking God to take charge of every minute detail in our lives, but I do value the discovery as the years go by. And when I was a young Christian, I was taught such definite things. I mean, it was also definite.
So would you think that something like this morning was some sort of attack on my serenity to go off and do a valuable job?
I might have done. I might have done then. I wouldn't now. But I mean, I still know people. Excuse me. I mean, I knew someone who doesn't live around here, but someone who said, "Oh, I'm changing my talk because my laptop went down, and I realised God was telling me that I shouldn't be doing that talk."
Ah.
And I said, "But your laptop is always going down." I mean, it's. I mean, what are you actually saying that on this occasion you're willing to not do the talk because you don't want to do it or something, or but when I was, it's quite interesting looking back. There's a wonderful sermon by what was his name? Alan Bennett.
Right.
Alan Bennett. Which he did years and years and years ago, and Beyond the Fringe.
Oh, that really is years and years and years ago.
It is.
Yeah,
And
wow.
I went to the vicar of the church where I was then, when I was 16, very excited, and thought, this would be a good thing to do, whatever the teenage thing we did, I wanted to read it. So I said to him, I just thought I'd just check that this is okay. And he said, oh, let me have a look. So he looked at it. And the reading that Alan Bennett had really, really carefully chosen was, Esau is an hairy man, but I am a smooth one.
Which you found screamingly funny at 16.
Which is actually a reading.
Yes, I know.
But the vicar said...
Well, in one translation, yeah.
The vicar said, I'm not sure we should dabble with the word like this. And at that time, when I was 16, I thought, oh, no, right, we don't want to dabble with the word. And I can imagine now God saying, what's doing?
It is quite funny.
It's very... But I mean, we're talking about things going wrong, all that. I think those things become less and less matters for what I was really pretending to say in what I read just now, that somebody outside me is stopping it.
I think sometimes where it changes, I was talking to somebody today and she was saying that she cannot get out of the way she's feeling. She's deeply depressed at the moment. And that's when you can't laugh at the things, whereas we have laughed at what happened yesterday. We can look back and find something funny. But when that awful cloud comes right over you and you can't find anything that distracts you, then that's a horrible, miserable thing. And I don't know where you put that, but I certainly don't think that motivates energy. It's an energy sapping thing, isn't it? I didn't know what to say to her, but I know so many people for whom that type of thing is so debilitating because it keeps cropping up.
It must be so
and spoiling things. Not like the water over your papers, or like my freezer this morning, but just over everything. Like you talked about the water, or I talked about the awful the awful defrozen fruits of the forest. But not like that, but a sort of dampness that goes over everything. And I think sometimes that's where we need to speak Jesus into it, really, because there's nothing we can do to lift that. There's nothing we can do to shorten the time.
It's quite interesting that, isn't it? Early in my... No, not that early, because we'd been going some time, I think. And I was suffering from sleep paralysis.
You were?
And
it's horrible.
I tried various things to ease it or make it better because it's quite frightening. And in the end, and it really, it's always best to simply state things as a fact in the Christian world, isn't it? Because they get inflated and twisted. But the only thing that would change it was saying the word Jesus over and over again. Because when you suffer from sleep paralysis, it is as though, and it may be as though, actually this I don't know, I can't remember, that your body is paralyzed, but the rest of you is awake.
Your body is asleep.
Your body is not moving, you can't move your body, but you are awake, or you believe you're awake. And actually it's accompanied often with other people with particular images which are interesting.
Yeah.
But
I think now more and more, it's part of a song that we sing in church, I Speak Jesus, but it has helped me, Adrian, to think, I've no idea what God's going to do with this. I've no idea what the plan is that we talk about. I've no idea. But the name of Jesus, that's what I'll do. Just bring Jesus into it. And
what does that do?
I just find, what does it do for me? I feel it's the best. It's like taking the very best thing I know into a situation and then getting on with whatever that involves in terms of companionship or getting my finger out to do something or other that ought to be done. But that just instead of complicating these things, just thinking, well, that's what they did. They went with Jesus into situations, and it was him who decided what would happen and how it would pan out. I found it quite a relief, really. I'm not saying I said it to my freezer this morning. If I did, it didn't make any difference at all. It's still making a dreadful noise. But
The freezer is a frog worshipper.
Anyway, we've had some lovely emails, haven't we, over this last week or two, and we will share some of them next week. But any stories of where you think you've got it under control and maybe you haven't quite would be lovely to share.
Yes, it would be nice to hear other people.
There may not be any, Adrian. You do realise that. It may be just us.
That's extremely unlikely. Anyway, thank you for listening. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.